we're not that good. We can just pick out quarters. First of all, Minnesota never quit. They played well, and they're a good team. They got a lot of talent, and they're good, and they made us work for everything. So, we came up with about 3 good quarters during this series and knocked them out. But, kudos to them. The first half, I thought we just didn't get into people. They were shooting the ball extremely well, but most of that was because we gave them space, gave them confidence. They didn't fill us, however I want to phrase it. We just didn't play as hard as we needed to play. And then that's what makes these guys really good. At halftime, we talked about it. They talked about it. Guess what? Same as up there in Minnesota. It was more of an offensive explosion. I thought it was a defensive explosion for us this time because of getting into them and making them, miss some shots.
Brian Smith, Houston Chronicle. Mike, you mentioned you guys win the series 4-1, but you mentioned the inconsistency and a few quarters.
No, it's pretty consistent. 4-1 is pretty consistent.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to clarify.
Do you believe you guys will fix that in the second round? You have a few days off.
Well, I hope not. I hope it's 4-1 in the second round too. I'll take this all the way through. I'm striving for perfection, and there is another team on the floor. There is another team that made a lot of threes. They were 7 for 10 in the first half. Even if they're in the gym by themselves, that's a lot of threes to make. So, they deserve a lot of the credit. They came out and gave us, and then our guys circled the wagons a little bit and got a little bit more. And overall, I'll nitpick at them, but it was pretty good a performance.
Coach, forgot my name real quick. Andrew Chang with Southern.
I don't know, so don't give it to me.
Andrew Chang, Southern Daily News.
Okay.
You got 9 for 14 from 3-pointers out of Trevor Ariza and PJ Tucker. They're normally the guys that have to defend. How important was it for them to go off in this game, especially when Chris and James kind of had a slow start?
Well, that's to me, that was the whole thing. First half, I think James had 5 and Chris had 2. So Trevor, PJ, Eric Gordon, Clint kind of kept us in it. We had 55 points anyway, with those 2 guys getting 7 points. So obviously it was big, it was huge. And then PJ hit a couple of daggers in the corner that is his shot. It's not I knew we'd eventually get there. So with their defense and their ability to be able to do that, that's key.
Houston Chronicle, what did you think of the pounding that Tucker took on some of those switches with Towns? It looked like you're going to let Towns score to a certain degree because he's a good scorer, but Tucker really did an admirable job.
Oh, he's he's got a lot of heart, and he's been so valuable to us, and how he plays, his heart, his tenacity on defense, how he talks, how he always rotates the right way, how he takes a physical beating, but he also is giving out a physical beating. It's not easy to bang with him. But his role has been, and in some of you can count, he's there every day. Knock on wood, whatever. But he's been super all year for us, and he's so important. Just not his shots, and I think I addressed this last time. I don't care. It's his spirit, it's his heart and soul, it's his toughness, and all that just makes us a gritty, tough team on defense, and that's where we get over the hump.
Adam Spillane from Sports Radio 610. You play OKC or Utah next. They have a Game 6. I'm assuming that you would be okay if that went to 7. But at the same time,
well, actually, I don't care, because I don't care who comes out, because I can't. It doesn't matter. But if it only goes 6, then we're playing a day or 2 after, goes 7, playing a day or 2 after. So it's not.
When they play Game 6, do you watch that closely as it's happening? Or are you watching with your staff? How does that?
No, I don't want to be around my staff. We're around each other enough. No, we'll watch it, just go and get some popcorn and enjoy the NBA like everybody else does. Obviously, we'll see things, but then we'll have the next day, we'll break it down. If Utah wins, we'll break that down. If OKC wins, then we'll wait till Sunday. And we have plenty of time to prepare and get in there and do what we do.
Tim McMahon, ESPN. Obviously, you've been high on Capella for a while, but what did he show you in this series?
Well, tonight I thought was incredible. That's probably his thrust and force and rebounding and what he did and the stamina that he played 33 minutes, and there was no dip at all. He was incredible tonight, I thought. You don't get much better than that. Now I know that he plays the way that we play, but in that role that he has, there's nobody better in the league. What he does, there's nobody better. And he was really, really good and smart, and just in so many areas. And it just makes it so nice. We have point guards that can guard bigs, and we have bigs that can guard point guards, and that's hard to find. It helps us have a lot of different weapons that we can put out there, and with him and PJ being able to have that ability to be able to guard the perimeter, to me that's so important.
Jonathan Fagan, Houston Chronicle. Going back to the three-point shooting around Chris and James, when they're sending the double team to James, when they'd get switches and mismatches, how much does that come into him being patient enough to just find the open three-point shooter rather than look for his own or force things?
Yeah, he has to read the situation, because sometimes we tell him also, go in and attack the big coming up the double, attack him and get in and then make the play. So we tell him that. He has to feel it. And, they're doubling him, and they're kind of leaving a Hall of Fame point guard on the other side. If Chris can get it, then we have a 4-on-3. So, really it's that's their brilliance, is that I can tell them afterwards, but that doesn't help much. At the moment, they have to read it, and they're so good and so smart. It's just their ability to be able to figure out what kind of defense they're throwing at him. He doesn't care.
Mike, Brian Smith, Houston Chronicle. The last two games, James, third quarter, last game was historic, and then tonight 15 points got you guys going again. How much do you think what he's able to do is feel, knowing exactly what the team needs, knowing he needs to turn it up just a little bit to get the whole team going, et cetera, to be able to do that in back-to-back nights in a playoff atmosphere?
Well, you'll have to ask him. Obviously, we don't plan it that way. We don't talk about it that way. And you'll have to ask him. And when you do talk to him, could you ask him, to let me know, because I'm dying in the first half. My health is an issue if he has my butt. And you know what? Sooner or later, he is going to figure it out. And he might figure it out immediately, or it might take him a quarter, 2 quarters. It might take him till the next game. Who knows? But, again, one of the best offensive guys ever, if not the best.
Yeah, Mike, Dale Robertson from the Chronicle. I know you were kind of preoccupied. You noticed Justin Verlander sitting across the court from me today, and where I'm going with this is I asked AJ about this afternoon. He says that the Astros draw on your energy, and I was wondering if the Rockets, the season you've had was in a little way just once the Astros took care of their business. Did that add anything to, kind of?
How I want to be really nice and say yes, but I don't.
Didn't think about it?
I don't think about it. I didn't see him over there. I don't see anybody. I didn't see my wife, who was sitting right behind me. I don't have. What they did was incredible, and if we can feed off that, great. Maybe some players do. I just enjoyed them, but I think our energy would be where it is, whether them Texans, whoever will draw. We're trying to represent ourselves in the city as well as we can.
Sekou Smith from NBA.com. Mike, you said you were striving for perfection. When's the last time this team was as near that as you would like?
Well, I don't think they'll ever get there unless they don't miss a shot. I think every coach does. You just try, you nitpick them, and like I was a little animated when we're up 19 and they score like 6 straight points really easy. I've been in the other spot. I've played the game, and it's like, come on, coach, settle down. We got it. They know that. I look at James and Chris, and they're like looking at me sideways, like, yeah, okay. They're just really professional, and they're just super talented. So it'll never be perfection, but some of the stuff they do is pretty good, and it's just fun to have guys like this that are so smart and know the moment and are big in the moment. They're incredible players. Thanks, guys.